She called you emotionally unavailable. You call it emotionally controlled. She said you're distant. You said you're calm. She said you don't care. You said you don't panic. Who's right? The answer isn't what you think. Because somewhere between the rise of modern feminism and the collapse of traditional masculinity, we created a problem nobody wants to talk about. Modern women have been taught to value emotional expression above everything, while simultaneously being told they want a strong, grounded man. And modern men have been taught to suppress emotion entirely, while simultaneously being told women want vulnerability. So we have women demanding emotional availability from men who've been trained to be stoic, and men practicing stoicism while being accused of emotional unavailability, and nobody can tell the difference anymore. Today, we're going to untangle this mess, because the confusion between stoicism and emotional unavailability isn't just ruining relationships, it's destroying masculine-feminine polarity itself. And by the end of this, you will understand exactly why modern women struggle with stoic men, what they're actually responding to, and how to embody true stoicism without being mistaken for emotionally dead. But I need to warn you, this is going to challenge both sides. If you're a man who thinks you're stoic, but you're really just avoidant, this will expose that. If you're a woman who demands emotional availability, but punishes vulnerability, this will reveal why. And if you're anyone trying to navigate modern dating while everyone around you seems confused, angry, and exhausted, this will finally make sense of the chaos. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth neither side wants to hear. Most men who call themselves stoic are not stoic. They're avoidant. They're emotionally shut down. They're using philosophy as a shield to avoid intimacy, vulnerability, and emotional responsibility. And most modern women who say they want a strong, emotionally available man don't actually know what that looks like, because they've been conditioned to believe that emotional availability means constant expression, constant reassurance, and constant emotional labor. So we have men hiding behind fake stoicism and women demanding fake vulnerability, and both sides are confused about why nothing works. Here's the reality. True stoicism is not emotional unavailability. It's emotional mastery. It's not coldness. It's composure. It's not distance. It's depth without desperation. It's not suppression. It's sovereignty. And the reason modern women can't handle stoic men isn't because stoic men are broken. It's because modern dating culture has lost the ability to recognize the difference between a man who's emotionally controlled and a man who's emotionally dead. So why does this confusion exist? Why do women accuse stoic men of being cold when they're actually calm? Why do men think stoicism means never showing emotion when the Stoics themselves wept, loved, and felt deeply? And most importantly, how do we restore the masculine-feminine polarity that's been destroyed by this misunderstanding? Let's break it down, because what I'm about to show you will change how you see modern dating entirely. And the first reason reveals a conditioning pattern that's been affecting women for 3 decades. Reason 1. Modern women were taught emotional expression equals love. The first reason modern women struggle with stoic men, they've been conditioned to believe that emotional expression equals love. If he's not constantly talking about his feelings, he doesn't care. If he's not reacting emotionally to every situation, he's disconnected. If he's not anxious when she's anxious, he's not invested. This isn't their fault, it's cultural conditioning. For the last 30 years, every romantic movie, TV show, and pop song has taught women the same script. Love looks like emotional volatility. Passion looks like chaos. Connection looks like constant emotional disclosure. The man who fights for her is the one who chases, begs, explains, and emotionally combusts when she pulls away. So when a Stoic man doesn't do any of that, when he stays calm, grounded, and emotionally regulated, she interprets it as indifference because she's never seen love expressed through composure. Marcus Aurelius loved his wife deeply. He wrote about her with affection, gratitude, and tenderness. But he didn't write about her every day. He didn't obsess. He didn't panic when she was upset. He loved her, but his love was grounded, not desperate. That's the difference modern culture doesn't teach. Desperate love is volatile. Grounded love is stable. Desperate love needs constant proof. Grounded love trusts itself. Desperate love is loud. Grounded love is quiet. And in a culture that equates volume with validity, grounded love looks like nothing at all. Here's how this plays out in modern dating. She asks, "Do you even care about me?" Stoic man, "Yes." Calm, certain, done. Her internal reaction, "That's it. Just yes." If he really cared, he'd explain more. He'd fight harder to prove it. So she tests again. "You don't act like you care." Stoic man, "I do." Still calm, still grounded. Her internal reaction, "He's so cold. He's not fighting for me. He must not really love me." This is the reassurance loop. She's looking for emotional intensity as proof of investment. He's offering emotional stability as proof of investment. Both are valid expressions of love, but they're speaking different languages. Psychology calls this anxious attachment. People with anxious attachment need constant emotional validation to feel secure. They interpret calmness as abandonment. They interpret stability as disinterest. They need the relationship to feel slightly unstable because instability feels like passion. So when a Stoic man shows up stable, grounded, and composed, it doesn't register as strength. It registers as apathy, not because he's doing anything wrong, but because her nervous system has been trained to associate love with anxiety. Think about the romantic comedies she grew up watching. The grand gesture at the airport, the man running through the rain to declare his love, the dramatic speech where he falls apart emotionally to prove he cares. That's the blueprint. That's what love is supposed to look like. So when real life doesn't match that script, when the man stays calm instead of combusting, it feels wrong. Here's what's tragic about this. The emotional volatility she's attracted to, it's not strength. It's insecurity. The man who chases desperately isn't confident. He's terrified of losing her. The man who explodes emotionally isn't passionate. He's unregulated. But modern culture has rebranded insecurity as intensity. And intensity feels like love until it destroys you. I once knew a woman who dated 2 men back to back. The first was emotionally volatile, constantly texting, constantly needing reassurance, constantly creating drama to prove his passion. She felt wanted, desired, pursued. The second was Stoic, calm, grounded, consistent. He showed up. He listened. He was reliable. She felt bored, unimportant, ignored. She chose the first man. 6 months later, the relationship imploded in chaos, manipulation, and exhaustion. She looked back at the Stoic man and realized he was offering her stability, and she mistook it for indifference. But by then, he'd moved on. Because Stoic men don't wait around for women who confuse chaos with connection. Here's the shift that needs to happen. Women need to unlearn the cultural script that equates emotional intensity with love, because intensity is easy, stability is rare. Intensity burns hot and fast. Stability burns slow and forever. Intensity makes you feel alive in the moment. Stability makes you feel safe for a lifetime. But unlearning decades of conditioning doesn't happen overnight, which is why the second reason becomes even more critical. Because it's not just about what she was taught, it's about how feminine energy naturally operates. Reason 2, feminine energy tests masculine energy. The second reason modern women struggle with Stoic men: feminine energy tests masculine energy, and most men don't understand what the test actually is. Here's the truth that modern dating advice won't tell you. When a woman emotionally escalates, she's not asking you to match her emotion. She's asking you to hold the frame. When she says, "You don't care about me," she's not stating a fact. She's testing whether you'll stay grounded or collapse into her emotional state. When she creates drama, she's not trying to sabotage the relationship. She's testing whether you're solid enough to handle her when she's not. This is not manipulation. This is polarity. Feminine energy is fluid, emotional, expressive. Masculine energy is grounded, stable, directional. When feminine energy pushes, masculine energy holds, not with force, with presence. Epictetus taught that external events cannot disturb you, only your interpretation of them. In relationships, this means her emotions are not attacks on you, they're expressions of her internal state. A Stoic man doesn't take her emotional storms personally. He remains the lighthouse while she's the waves. Not because he doesn't care, but because caring doesn't mean drowning with her. Here's what happens when a man fails the test. She escalates emotionally. "You never listen to me." He collapses into her frame. "I do listen. Why are you always attacking me? I can't do anything right." She loses respect instantly. Not because he showed emotion, but because he became emotionally dependent on her validation. He gave away his frame. He entered her emotional state instead of holding his own. And in that moment, she's no longer dealing with masculine energy, she's dealing with another version of herself. And sameness doesn't create polarity, it creates friction. Now here's what happens when a Stoic man passes the test. She escalates. "You never listen to me." He stays calm. "I hear you. Let's talk about this when we're both grounded." She might escalate more at first, testing if he'll hold. "No, we need to talk about this now. You're always avoiding things." He remains still. "I'm not avoiding. I'm choosing to have this conversation when we can both think clearly. I'm here when you're ready." And if he stays solid, if he doesn't react, doesn't defend, doesn't collapse, something shifts. She calms down, because his groundedness gave her a place to land. Polarity is not about dominance and submission, it's about energy balance. Feminine energy needs masculine energy to feel safe being emotional. If he's as emotional as she is, there's no grounding force. The relationship becomes two people in a lifeboat, both panicking and nobody steering. If he's emotionally dead, there's no connection. The relationship becomes one person drowning while the other watches from shore. The sweet spot is emotionally present, but not emotionally reactive. He feels, he doesn't collapse. He listens, he doesn't absorb. He cares, he doesn't panic. That's Stoicism in relationship. That's what modern women claim they can't handle. But it's actually what they're searching for. But here's where it gets complicated. Some women genuinely don't want this. Some women have been so conditioned by modern dating culture that they actively resist masculine stability, because stability feels boring compared to chaos. Groundedness feels cold compared to volatility, and if a woman is deeply attached to drama as proof of passion, no amount of Stoic presence will satisfy her. Not because Stoicism is wrong, but because she's addicted to emotional intensity, and intensity requires instability. Think about it like this. If you've spent your entire life eating sugar, whole food tastes bland. If you've spent your entire dating life chasing emotional roller coasters, stability feels empty. Your nervous system has been trained to interpret chaos as excitement. So when a calm, grounded man shows up, it doesn't trigger the dopamine hit she's used to, and she mistakes the absence of chaos for the absence of love. But chaos isn't love. Chaos is just chaos, and eventually chaos destroys everything it touches. Here's the brutal reality. Not every woman is ready for a stoic man. Some women need to exhaust themselves on emotional volatility before they realize what they actually need is stability. Some women need to date the man who love bombs, then ghosts, then comes back, then disappears again, until they finally understand that unpredictability isn't passion, it's torture. And by the time they realize this, the stoic man they overlooked is long gone. Because stoic men don't wait, they don't chase, they don't convince, they offer presence, clarity, and groundedness. And if that's not valued, they move forward without resentment. So the question becomes, is the problem stoic men, or is the problem that modern women have been taught to confuse chaos with connection? The answer is both. Because while women have been conditioned to seek intensity, men have been equally confused about what Stoicism actually means. And that's where the third reason becomes critical, because most men practicing Stoicism aren't stoic at all. Reason 3. Stoicism looks like emotional unavailability when done wrong. The third reason modern women struggle with stoic men. Most men practicing Stoicism are actually practicing avoidance, and avoidance destroys intimacy. Let's be brutally honest. A lot of men discovered Stoicism after a breakup, a betrayal, or a rejection. They were hurt, vulnerable, exposed, and Stoicism gave them a framework to never feel that way again. So they didn't become stoic. They became emotionally fortified. They built walls and called it discipline. They withdrew and called it detachment. They stopped communicating and called it composure. That's not Stoicism. That's trauma response disguised as philosophy. Seneca loved deeply. He wrote letters full of warmth, care, vulnerability, and emotional honesty. He wasn't cold. He wasn't distant. He wasn't withholding. He was emotionally regulated, but emotionally present. That's the difference. A stoic man feels. He just doesn't let feelings dictate his actions. An avoidant man doesn't feel. Or worse, he refuses to let himself feel because feeling means risking pain. Here's how fake Stoicism shows up. She says, "Can we talk about what happened yesterday?" Fake Stoic, silence, no response, walks away. That's not Stoicism, that's stonewalling. Real Stoic, "Yeah, let's talk. Give me a few minutes to finish this and I'll sit down with you." See the difference? The fake Stoic avoids the conversation because he's scared of conflict. The real Stoic engages the conversation because he's not scared of anything, including difficult emotions. Psychology calls this dismissive avoidant attachment. These men minimize their emotional needs, avoid intimacy while craving it, withdraw when things get emotionally intense, use independence as a defense mechanism, and frame emotional distance as strength. And they genuinely believe they're being stoic, but they're not. Because Stoicism is about engaging reality fully, including emotional reality. Avoidance is about escaping reality, especially emotional reality. So here's how you know if you're stoic or avoidant. Ask yourself, am I calm because I've processed my emotions? Or am I calm because I've suppressed them? Am I grounded because I trust myself? Or am I distant because I don't trust anyone else? Do I stay composed during conflict because I'm secure, or because I shut down when things get hard? If your Stoicism looks like refusing to have difficult conversations, never admitting when you're wrong, using logic to dismiss her emotions, staying silent to punish, or never initiating emotional intimacy, you're not stoic, you're avoidant, and she's right to call you emotionally unavailable. Here's a real example. I knew a man who prided himself on being stoic. His girlfriend would try to discuss problems in the relationship, and he'd respond with one-word answers or complete silence. When she got upset, he'd say, "I'm not going to engage with this emotional chaos." He thought he was being disciplined. She thought he was being cruel. Eventually, she left, and he blamed her for being too emotional. But the truth was, he wasn't stoic. He was terrified of vulnerability. He used philosophy as a shield to avoid the discomfort of real intimacy, and he lost someone who genuinely cared about him because he couldn't tell the difference between emotional control and emotional cowardice. Here's the nuance that matters. Stoicism doesn't mean you never feel. It means you feel without being controlled by the feeling. Stoicism doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you don't let struggle dictate your actions. Stoicism doesn't mean you're never vulnerable. It means you choose when and how to be vulnerable, instead of being vulnerable accidentally, reactively, or desperately. But avoidant men skip the feeling part entirely. They never process. They never sit with discomfort. They never allow themselves to be seen. And they confuse that emotional shutdown with strength. It's not strength. It's fear wearing a philosophical mask. And here's what makes this tragic. Women can sense the difference. Even if they can't articulate it, they feel it. They feel the difference between a man who's calm because he's processed his emotions and a man who's calm because he's buried them. They feel the difference between a man who's grounded in presence and a man who's hiding behind distance. They feel the difference between a man who's choosing composure and a man who's avoiding connection. And when they feel that difference, they pull away. Not because they can't handle Stoicism, but because what they're experiencing isn't Stoicism at all. So if you're a man reading this and you've been called emotionally unavailable multiple times by multiple women, pause. Don't dismiss it. Don't blame them for being too emotional. Ask yourself honestly, am I engaging emotionally or am I avoiding emotionally? Am I present or am I performing presence? Because the answer to that question will determine whether you're actually stoic or just scared. But even when a man has done the work, even when he's truly embodying stoicism with presence, groundedness, and emotional availability, there's still a fourth reason modern women struggle. And this one has nothing to do with conditioning or avoidance. This one is about what women actually respond to at a primal level, and it's the key that unlocks everything. Reason 4. Women respond to presence, not performance. The fourth reason, and this is the game changer, women don't respond to emotional unavailability, and they don't respond to emotional desperation. They respond to presence. Presence is the integration of stoicism and emotional availability. It's being calm without being cold. It's being grounded without being distant. It's being controlled without being controlling. Presence says, I'm here, fully. I'm not running. I'm not collapsing. I'm just here. And that, more than anything else, is what feminine energy craves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." That's presence, not distraction, not performance, not anxiety. Full attention on what's in front of you. In a relationship, that means when she's talking, you're listening, not planning your response. When she's emotional, you're present, not fixing or fleeing. When she tests, you're grounded, not reactive or defensive. Here's how to know if you're present or performing. When you're with her, where's your mind? Are you thinking about work? Scrolling mentally through your to-do list, planning your next move in the conversation? Or are you actually there? Presence is felt, not performed. She can sense when you're mentally checked out, even if you're physically sitting next to her. And she can sense when you're fully there, even if you're not saying much. That's why the quiet, stoic man who's truly present feels more connected than the talkative man who's mentally absent. Psychologists call this attunement. It's the ability to be emotionally present with someone without losing yourself. You can hold space for her emotions without absorbing them. You can witness her pain without trying to fix it immediately. You can see her clearly, not through the lens of your anxiety, your agenda, or your ego. That's what women mean when they say they want emotional availability. They don't mean react emotionally to everything I say. They mean be present enough to actually see me. Here's what stoic presence looks like in practice. She's upset. I had the worst day. Everything went wrong. Fake, stoic. It's not that bad. You're overreacting. That's dismissive. It shuts her down. It tells her that her experience isn't valid. Desperate man. Oh no, what happened? What can I do? Are you okay? Let me fix it. That's drowning in her emotions. It makes her responsible for managing both her feelings and his anxiety. Stoic man with presence. That sounds rough. Tell me what happened. Grounded, listening, present. He's not fixing, he's not dismissing, he's just there. See the difference? The fake stoic dismisses her emotions because he's uncomfortable with them. The desperate man becomes her emotions because he can't hold his own center. The stoic with presence holds space for her emotions without losing his center. That's the model. That's the standard. That's what actually works. And here's what's fascinating. When you do this, when you stay present without collapsing or dismissing, something shifts in her. She calms down faster. She feels seen. She feels safe. Not because you fixed the problem, but because you didn't make her feelings a problem. Most men don't realize how rare this is. Most men either try to solve the problem immediately or they shut down because they don't know how to handle emotion. So when a woman encounters a man who can simply be with her, who doesn't need to fix, who doesn't need to flee, who just holds space, it's magnetic. Because it's the opposite of what she's experienced her entire life. And that presence is what creates real attraction. Not the drama, not the intensity, not the emotional volatility. Presence. But here's where men get confused. They think presence means being passive. It doesn't. Presence is active. It's intentional. It's you choosing to be fully engaged in the moment instead of mentally escaping it. It's you making eye contact when she's talking. It's you putting your phone down. It's you noticing the shift in her energy before she says anything. It's you asking, "You seem off today. What's going on?" instead of waiting for her to explode because you missed all the signals. Here's a story that illustrates this perfectly. I knew a couple where the woman constantly complained that her partner never listened. He'd get defensive. "I do listen, I'm sitting right here." But here's what was actually happening. He was physically present but mentally absent. When she talked, he was nodding while thinking about work. When she expressed emotion, he was calculating how to end the conversation quickly. When she needed connection, he was performing engagement. She could feel it. She couldn't articulate it, but she felt the absence of presence, and it made her feel alone even when he was in the room. Eventually, he realized the issue, and he made one change. When she talked, he stopped everything. No phone, no mental to-do list, no planning his response, just listening, actually hearing her. And within 2 weeks, she stopped saying he didn't listen. Not because he suddenly became more expressive, but because he became more present. That's the power of presence. It doesn't require more words. It requires more attention. And here's the twist. Presence doesn't just benefit her, it benefits you. Because when you're fully present, you're not carrying the mental exhaustion of constantly managing multiple things at once. You're not drained by the emotional labor of pretending to care while mentally checking out. You're just there, and being there, fully, intentionally, is actually easier than performing presence while being elsewhere. It's less exhausting, less stressful, more grounding. Because you're not splitting your attention, you're investing it. So if you want to know whether you're being stoic or avoidant, ask this. When she needs you, are you there? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, energetically. Because presence is the bridge between stoicism and intimacy. It's how you stay grounded without being distant. It's how you stay composed without being cold. It's how you embody masculine energy without becoming emotionally unavailable. And once you master presence, the fifth reason becomes even more clear, because it's not just about what men are doing wrong, it's about what modern women have lost. Reason 5. Modern women have lost their feminine polarity. The fifth reason modern women can't handle Stoic men: many modern women have lost touch with their feminine energy, and without feminine energy, masculine energy feels threatening. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Modern women have been told for decades that they need to be strong, independent, self-sufficient, and emotionally bulletproof. They've been taught that needing a man is weakness, that softness is vulnerability, that receptivity is submission. So they've developed masculine energy as armor. They lead, they control, they fix, they plan, they manage, not because they want to, but because they don't trust anyone else to do it. And when a Stoic man shows up, grounded, leading, directive, she can't relax into his energy. Because she's been in masculine mode for so long, she doesn't remember how to be feminine. The Stoics believed in living according to nature, and nature operates on polarity, day and night, expansion and contraction, masculine and feminine. Neither is superior, both are necessary. But modern culture has told women to abandon their feminine energy and told men to abandon their masculine energy. So now we have two people in masculine mode competing for control, or two people in feminine mode waiting for someone to lead. Neither creates polarity, both create friction. Here's how this shows up. Stoic man makes a decision. We're going here for dinner. Masculine energy woman: why didn't you ask me first? I wanted to go somewhere else. You're being controlling. She's not wrong for wanting input. But she's also not allowing him to lead, because in her world, leadership equals control, and control equals danger. So she resists his direction, not because it's bad, but because she's been conditioned to resist masculine energy entirely. This isn't about traditional gender roles, it's about energy, masculine energy, structure, direction, logic, action, provision, feminine energy, flow, intuition, emotion, receptivity, nurturing. Everyone has both. But most people lean one way naturally. Modern women have been forced into masculine overdrive, careers, independence, self-reliance, and they're exhausted. Because living in constant masculine mode is draining. It's like sprinting a marathon. But they can't stop, because stopping feels like weakness. So when a Stoic man offers groundedness, direction, and stability, part of her craves it desperately, but another part resists it violently, because surrendering to his leadership feels like losing herself. Here's what's tragic. The very thing she resists is the thing that would let her rest. A truly Stoic man, present, grounded, leading, creates a safe container for feminine energy to express itself. She doesn't have to manage everything. She doesn't have to be on guard. She doesn't have to stay in control. She can finally soften, but softening requires trust. And modern women have been taught that trust is naivety. Think about the modern woman's daily reality. She wakes up and immediately goes into execution mode. She manages her career, her finances, her health, her social life, her family obligations. She's the project manager of her own life. She's been taught that this is empowerment. And in many ways, it is. But empowerment and exhaustion can coexist, because masculine energy, when sustained without balance, burns you out. It's not designed to run 24/7. Nobody's energy is. And here's what nobody tells her: you can be independent and still desire masculine energy. You can be strong and still want to soften. You can be capable and still want someone to lead. These things are not contradictions, but modern culture treats them like they are. So she's trapped. If she softens, she's weak. If she stays hard, she's exhausted. And she resents the man who could give her a place to land, because landing feels like falling. I knew a woman who was a CEO. Brilliant, driven, successful. She ran a company, managed a team, made decisions all day. and she dated a stoic man, calm, grounded, quietly confident. At first, she was attracted, but within weeks, she started resisting. He'd suggest something, she'd counter. He'd lead, she'd question. He'd make a decision, she'd need to know why. Not because his decisions were bad, but because she couldn't turn off her masculine energy. She was in CEO mode 24/7, and she didn't know how to let someone else hold the frame. Eventually, he said something that shifted everything. "I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to give you a place where you don't have to control everything." She broke down. Because she realized she'd been in survival mode for so long, she'd forgotten what it felt like to trust someone else's leadership. She'd been holding the weight of the world alone, not because she wanted to, but because she didn't believe anyone else could carry it. And his groundedness wasn't a threat. It was an invitation to finally rest. But not every woman gets to that realization. Some stay in resistance, some stay in masculine overdrive until they burn out. Some blame men for being too dominant when really they're just terrified of being vulnerable. And some never learn that softening into feminine energy isn't weakness, it's relief. It's the exhale they've been holding for years. But that exhale requires trust. And trust requires letting go of control. And letting go of control is the hardest thing a woman in masculine mode can do. Here's the brutal reality. A stoic man can't force a woman into her feminine energy. He can only create the conditions where it's safe for her to choose it. He can be grounded enough that she doesn't have to be. He can be directional enough that she doesn't have to plan everything. He can be stable enough that she doesn't have to manage his emotions. But if she's committed to staying in masculine mode, if she's addicted to control, or if she genuinely doesn't trust men, then no amount of stoic presence will shift her, because the shift has to come from within her. And here's what men need to understand. It's not your job to fix her. It's not your job to convince her to soften. It's not your job to prove that you're safe. You can offer presence, leadership, and stability, but she has to choose to receive it. And if she doesn't, that's not a failure of your stoicism. That's a mismatch of energy. Some women are ready for masculine energy, some aren't. And trying to force it only creates resentment on both sides. But here's where it all comes together, because even when men understand stoicism, and even when women understand polarity, there's still one massive problem. Nobody teaches this anymore. And that's the sixth and final reason modern women can't handle stoic men. Reason 6. Nobody teaches polarity anymore. The sixth and final reason modern women can't handle stoic men: nobody teaches polarity anymore, so both sides are confused, frustrated, and blaming each other for a dynamic neither of them understands. Polarity is not about gender roles, it's about energetic balance. When masculine and feminine energy are in balance, attraction is effortless. When they're out of balance, relationships feel like work. But modern culture doesn't teach this. It teaches equality, which is important legally, socially, and economically. But equality and polarity are not the same thing. You can have equal value and different energies. In fact, you must, because sameness doesn't create attraction, difference does. The Stoics believed in complementarity, opposing forces that work together to create harmony: fire and water, earth and air, logic and emotion, neither superior, both necessary. The same applies to relationships. Masculine energy grounds, feminine energy flows. Masculine energy directs, feminine energy inspires. Masculine energy holds the frame. Feminine energy fills the frame. When both are present, magic happens. Here's what women actually respond to, even if they can't articulate it: a man who is calm under pressure. That's Stoicism, a man who can hold space for her emotions without becoming them. That's Presence, a man who leads without dominating. That's masculine energy, a man who listens without fixing. That's attunement, a man who's emotionally available but not emotionally dependent. That's integration. That's the Stoic masculine model. It's not cold, it's composed. It's not distant, it's directed. It's not emotionally unavailable, it's emotionally sovereign. So here's how to integrate Stoicism into relationship. Feel your emotions. Don't suppress them. Stoicism isn't about not feeling. It's about not being controlled by feelings. Feel the anger. Acknowledge it. Don't let it dictate your actions. Be present, not perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be there, fully, attentively, without distraction. Lead, but invite input. Make decisions, have direction, but ask her perspective. Leadership isn't dictatorship, it's decisiveness with consideration. Stay grounded, but stay connected. Don't collapse into her emotions, but don't disconnect either. You're the rock, but you're not an island. Here's the truth that resolves everything. Modern women don't struggle with Stoic men. They struggle with men who claim to be Stoic, but are actually avoidant. And men don't struggle with modern women. They struggle with women who've lost touch with their feminine energy because culture told them it was weakness. Both sides are playing roles they don't fully understand, and both sides are exhausted. The solution isn't to abandon Stoicism, it's to understand what Stoicism actually is and what it isn't. It's emotional mastery, not emotional suppression. It's grounded presence, not cold distance. It's masculine direction, not masculine domination. When men embody that, and when women allow themselves to soften into their feminine energy, polarity returns and attraction becomes effortless again. But let's address the elephant in the room. Some people will hear this and think it's regressive. They'll say, "This sounds like you're telling women to be submissive and men to be dominant." That's not what this is. Polarity is not hierarchy. It's not about one person being above the other. It's about energetic balance. You can be a CEO and still embody feminine energy in your relationship. You can be a stay-at-home dad and still embody masculine energy. It's not about what you do. It's about how you show up energetically. Here's the analogy that makes this clear. Think of a dance. In a traditional dance, one person leads and one person follows. That doesn't mean the follower is inferior. It means they have different roles that create flow. If both people try to lead, they step on each other's toes. If both people try to follow, nobody moves. But when one leads and one follows, when the roles are clear, the dance is beautiful. That's polarity. It's not oppression, it's collaboration. And here's what modern culture doesn't teach. You can switch roles. Just because a man leads in the relationship doesn't mean he leads in every area. Maybe she leads financially, maybe he leads emotionally, maybe she leads socially, maybe he leads directionally. Polarity isn't rigid, it's fluid. But in each moment, someone needs to be in masculine energy and someone needs to be in feminine energy, because that's what creates attraction, that's what creates flow, that's what makes a relationship feel alive instead of stagnant. But here's the tragedy of modern dating. Most people don't even know this framework exists. They've never heard of polarity. They've never thought about masculine and feminine energy. They've just been told, be yourself, communicate, compromise. And those things are important, but they're not enough. Because if you don't understand energy dynamics, you end up in relationships that feel like roommates, comfortable, safe, but dead. No tension, no attraction, no polarity. I've seen this pattern repeatedly. Couples who love each other, respect each other, but have zero sexual chemistry. And when you look closer, you realize they're both operating in the same energy, both masculine or both feminine. There's no difference, no contrast, no magnetic pull, and they can't figure out why. They think something's wrong with them, but nothing's wrong. They're just energetically flat, and flat energy doesn't create desire. Here's the hard question you need to ask yourself. What energy are you bringing to your relationship? If you're a man, are you leading with groundedness and direction, or are you passive, uncertain, waiting for her to decide everything? If you're a woman, are you allowing space for his leadership, or are you competing with him for control? Neither answer is wrong, but they reveal whether polarity is present. And without polarity, attraction fades. It doesn't matter how much you love each other. It doesn't matter how much you communicate. Without energetic difference, desire dies. So the real issue isn't that modern women can't handle stoic men. The real issue is that nobody teaches men how to be stoic without being avoidant, and nobody teaches women how to be strong without being masculine. And nobody teaches either side how to create polarity. So we have a generation of people fumbling through relationships, blaming each other, exhausted, confused, and wondering why nothing works. And the answer is right in front of them. They've abandoned the framework that makes attraction possible. But here's the good news. This can be reclaimed. Men can learn to embody Stoicism with presence. Women can learn to trust masculine energy again. Both can learn to create polarity without sacrificing equality. It's not easy. It requires unlearning decades of cultural conditioning. It requires confronting uncomfortable truths about yourself. It requires letting go of ideologies that make you feel safe but keep you stuck. But it's possible. And once you understand this framework, once you see the difference between stoicism and avoidance, between strength and control, between masculine energy and domination, everything shifts. And that shift is what we're going to unpack in the final section, because understanding the problem is only half the battle. The other half is knowing what to do about it. So if you're still here, if you've stayed through all 6 reasons, you're about to get the most practical, actionable part of this entire conversation. The part that turns theory into transformation. The integration, what Stoic masculinity actually looks like. So let's get brutally practical, because understanding why modern women struggle with Stoic men is meaningless if you don't know how to embody true Stoicism in a relationship. And here's where most men fail. They think Stoicism is a set of behaviors. It's not. It's a way of being. You can't perform it. You can't fake it. You either embody it or you don't. And the difference shows up in every interaction, every conversation, every moment of tension. Here's what true Stoic masculinity looks like in practice. You feel deeply, but you don't let feelings make your decisions. You listen fully, but you don't absorb her emotional state. You lead clearly, but you don't dominate. You stay grounded, but you don't disconnect. You're emotionally available, but you're not emotionally dependent. You're present, but you're not passive. That's the integration. That's the standard. And most men have never seen this modeled. So they default to one extreme or the other. Either they're emotionally shut down and call it stoicism, or they're emotionally reactive and call it vulnerability. Let's break this down into real scenarios, because theory is useless without application. First scenario, she comes home upset about something that happened at work. Her boss criticized her, a colleague undermined her. She feels disrespected, unappreciated, invisible. She's venting, she's emotional, she might even be crying. Here's how different men respond. The avoidant man, that sucks. I'm sure it'll be fine. Then he goes back to what he was doing. He's uncomfortable with her emotion, so he dismisses it. She feels unheard, alone, invalidated. The desperate man, that's terrible, you should quit. Your boss is horrible, let me call him, let me fix this. He becomes more emotional than she is. Now she has to manage both her feelings and his anxiety. She feels burdened, overwhelmed. The stoic man, he stops what he's doing, makes eye contact. That sounds really hard. Tell me what happened. He listens, He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't offer solutions unless she asks. He stays grounded while she processes. When she's done, he might say, "What do you need right now? Do you want to talk through solutions, or do you just need me to listen?" He's present. He's calm. He's not trying to fix her or flee from her. He's just there. See the difference? The avoidant man protects himself by withdrawing. The desperate man loses himself by drowning. The stoic man holds himself while holding space for her. That's presence. That's integration. That's what women actually respond to, not because it's manipulative or strategic, but because it's real, it's grounded, it's safe, and safety is what allows feminine energy to express itself fully. Second scenario. She's testing you. She says something provocative. "You never make me feel special anymore." Or, "I don't think you even care about this relationship." Or, "You're always so distant." These aren't statements. They're tests. She's not asking for information. She's asking, "Are you solid? Can I push you and you won't collapse? Can I express doubt and you won't become defensive?" Here's how different men respond. The avoidant man, silence, or "I don't know what you want from me." He shuts down, he withdraws, he makes her wrong for having feelings. The desperate man, "What? I do care. I always try to make you feel special. Why do you always do this? Nothing I do is ever enough." He collapses into her frame. He defends himself emotionally. He proves her point by becoming reactive. The stoic man, "I hear you and I disagree. I show up for you consistently. But if something specific is missing, tell me what it is." Calm, clear, grounded. He doesn't collapse into her emotional state. He doesn't take the bait. He doesn't defend desperately. He simply holds his frame while inviting clarity. What happens next is critical. If she's genuinely trying to communicate, she'll clarify. "I guess I just miss when we used to go on dates." And now you have real information. But if she's testing, she'll either escalate or she'll calm down. If she escalates, you hold the frame. I'm happy to talk about this when we're both calm. If she calms down, she's passed through the test. She feels your solidity. And that solidity is what she was searching for. Not agreement, not validation. Solidity. Third scenario. She's overwhelmed. Life is hitting her from all directions. Work stress, family drama, health issues, financial pressure. She's drowning, and she's bringing that stress into the relationship. She's short-tempered. She's snapping at you. She's emotionally volatile. Here's how different men respond. The avoidant man. He creates distance. He stops engaging. He waits for the storm to pass without helping her through it. She feels abandoned. The desperate man. He tries to fix everything at once. He overwhelms her with solutions. He takes on her stress as his own. He becomes another problem she has to manage. The stoic man. He stays close without crowding. He doesn't try to fix everything, but he removes obstacles where he can. Maybe he handles dinner. Maybe he takes something off her plate. Maybe he just says, "I know things are heavy right now. I'm here. You don't have to carry this alone." He doesn't make her stress about him. He becomes the stable force in her chaos. Here's what all three scenarios reveal. Stoicism in relationship is about holding your center while creating space for hers. It's not about being unaffected. It's about being unshaken. You feel her pain. You witness her struggle. You care deeply, but you don't lose yourself in it. Because if you lose yourself, you can't help her. You just become another variable in her emotional equation, and what she needs isn't another variable. She needs a constant. Now let's address the uncomfortable question. What if she doesn't want this? What if she's so conditioned by modern dating culture that she interprets your groundedness as coldness? What if she actively punishes you for not being emotionally reactive? Here's the hard truth. Some women aren't ready for a stoic man. Some women are so attached to chaos that stability feels empty. Some women have been so conditioned to associate love with anxiety that calm feels like indifference. And if that's the case, no amount of stoic presence will satisfy her, because she's not looking for a partner, she's looking for an emotional roller coaster. And here's what you need to understand as a man. That's not your failure. That's a mismatch. You can't convince someone to value stability if they're addicted to chaos. You can't force someone to trust masculine energy if they've been conditioned to resist it. You can't make someone choose polarity if they're committed to sameness. What you can do is embody your values clearly, consistently, and without apology. And let the right person recognize it. Because the right woman won't need convincing. She'll feel the difference between you and every other man she's dated. She'll feel your presence, your groundedness, your emotional sovereignty, and she'll choose it. Not because you performed it, but because you are it. But there's a critical distinction here. You can't use Stoicism as a filter to avoid growth. Some men hear this and think, good, if she can't handle my Stoicism, she's not the one. But that's avoidance disguised as standards. If multiple women tell you you're emotionally unavailable, the problem might not be them. It might be that you're confusing Stoicism with stonewalling. So before you blame her for not understanding your Stoicism, ask yourself honestly, am I truly present? Am I truly engaging? Am I truly emotionally available? Or am I hiding behind philosophy? Here's the self-check. Can you sit with her when she's emotional without shutting down or fixing? Can you admit when you're wrong without your ego collapsing? Can you express affection without it feeling performative? Can you initiate emotional intimacy, or do you only respond when she initiates? Can you be vulnerable in moments that matter, or do you deflect with logic every time? If you're struggling with any of these, you're not stoic, you're avoidant. And the work isn't convincing her to accept you. The work is becoming the man who doesn't need to be accepted, because he's already integrated. Now, let's flip the script. If you're a woman watching this, here's what you need to understand. Not every calm man is emotionally unavailable. Not every grounded man is cold. Not every man who doesn't react emotionally is disconnected. Some men have done the work. Some men have learned to feel without collapsing. Some men can hold space for your emotions without drowning in them. And those men, the truly stoic men, are not your enemy. They're exactly what you've been searching for, but you have to stop confusing stability with apathy. Here's the pattern that destroys relationships. A stoic man shows up. He's calm, he's grounded, he's consistent, and at first you're attracted, but then your nervous system starts to panic. Because calm doesn't feel like passion, stability doesn't feel like intensity, consistency doesn't feel like excitement. So you test him, you create drama to see if he'll react, you push to see if he'll chase, you withdraw to see if he'll panic. And when he doesn't, when he stays solid, you interpret it as indifference. But it's not indifference, it's exactly what you asked for. You said you wanted a strong, grounded man, and now you have one. But you didn't realize that strong and grounded doesn't look like the movies. It looks like this: quiet, steady, unbothered. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Do you actually want a stoic man? Or do you want the fantasy version? A man who's strong when it's convenient, emotional when you need validation, and volatile enough to make you feel alive? Because you can't have both. You can't have a man who's grounded and a man who's reactive. You can't have stability and chaos. You have to choose. And if you choose chaos, that's your right. But don't blame stoic men for not giving you the drama you're addicted to. But if you choose stability, if you choose a man who's present, grounded, and emotionally sovereign, then you have to do your part. You have to stop testing him to see if he'll break. You have to stop creating drama to feel alive. You have to stop demanding emotional performances to prove he cares. You have to trust that his calmness is not coldness. His groundedness is not distance. His composure is not indifference. And you have to learn to soften into his masculine energy instead of competing with it. Here's what that looks like practically. When he leads, let him lead. You can offer input. You can express preferences, but don't undermine his decisions just to prove you're equal. Equality doesn't mean sameness. When he's calm during conflict, don't escalate to force a reaction. His calmness is his gift to you. It's the stable ground you can land on. When he doesn't react emotionally to your tests, don't interpret it as apathy. He's not ignoring you. He's holding space for you. When he stays composed under pressure, don't punish him for not panicking with you. His composure is what allows you to fall apart without the whole relationship collapsing. And here's the most important part. Learn to receive his love in the language he's offering it. If he's not verbally expressive, notice his actions. If he's not emotionally demonstrative, notice his presence. If he's not constantly reassuring you, notice his consistency. Because Stoic men express love through stability, provision, protection, and presence, not through words, performances, or emotional displays. And if you keep demanding the latter while ignoring the former, you'll destroy a good man while searching for a fantasy. Now here's the final piece that brings everything together. Polarity is not a technique. It's not something you perform. It's something you embody. And embodiment requires letting go of the identities that don't serve you. For men, that means letting go of the belief that vulnerability is weakness. Stoic men are not emotionless. They're emotionally regulated. And regulation requires feeling first. You can't regulate what you don't acknowledge. So feel your emotions, sit with them, process them, and then choose your response. That's Stoicism, not suppression. For women, embodiment means letting go of the belief that softness is submission. Feminine energy is not weak. It's receptive, it's intuitive, it's fluid, and it's powerful. But you've been taught that power looks like control. So you've abandoned your feminine energy in pursuit of masculine power. And now you're exhausted, burnt out, and wondering why relationships feel like work. Because you're trying to be both the masculine and the feminine. And that's not balance. That's depletion. Here's the shift. You can be powerful and soft. You can be independent and receptive. You can be strong and feminine. These are not contradictions, but they require trust. Trust that if you soften, you won't be taken advantage of. Trust that if you let him lead, you won't lose yourself. Trust that if you surrender control, the world won't collapse. And that trust is the hardest thing to build in a culture that's taught you to never trust anyone. But here's the truth. The right man will earn that trust, not through words, through consistency, through showing up, through holding space, through being the grounding force when your world feels chaotic. And when you finally allow yourself to soften into his energy, when you finally stop resisting masculine leadership, you'll feel something you haven't felt in years. Relief. The relief of not carrying everything alone. The relief of trusting someone else's strength. The relief of being in your feminine energy without shame. And for men, the relief comes from finally being received, from offering your groundedness and having it valued instead of resisted, from leading and being trusted instead of questioned at every turn, from expressing love through action and having it recognized instead of dismissed. That's what polarity creates. Mutual relief, mutual respect, mutual attraction, not because one is above the other, but because both are in their natural energy. So here's the final challenge. Stop blaming the other side. Stop hiding behind ideology. Stop using philosophy or feminism or any other framework as an excuse to avoid the uncomfortable work of embodying your energy. Men, stop using Stoicism as a shield to avoid vulnerability. Women, stop using independence as armor to avoid trust. Both of you start recognizing the difference between healthy boundaries and fearful resistance, between strength and control, between presence and performance. Because the moment you stop performing your identity and start embodying your energy, everything shifts. Attraction returns, polarity returns, desire returns. Not because you're playing games or using techniques, but because you've finally stopped fighting against nature. And nature rewards polarity. It always has. It always will. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. They understood that opposing forces create harmony. That difference creates attraction. That masculine and feminine energy, when balanced, creates something neither can create alone. And that's the truth modern dating has forgotten. We've been taught that we're all the same, that wanting different things is problematic, that traditional dynamics are oppressive. But polarity is not oppression. Polarity is energy, and energy is what makes relationships feel alive. Without it, you have friendship, companionship, partnership. But you don't have attraction, you don't have desire, you don't have that magnetic pull that makes you want to be near each other. And without that pull, relationships decay into routine, obligation, and resentment. So the question isn't whether modern women can handle Stoic men. The question is whether both sides are willing to do the work of unlearning, the work of embodying, the work of trusting, the work of creating polarity instead of resisting it. Because the truth is, women don't struggle with Stoic men. They struggle with men who hide behind Stoicism. And men don't struggle with modern women. They struggle with women who've abandoned their feminine energy. Both sides are exhausted, both sides are confused, and both sides are blaming each other for a dynamic neither fully understands. But understanding is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you take what you've learned and apply it. When you stop reading about Stoicism and start living it. When you stop talking about polarity and start embodying it. When you stop blaming your partner for not understanding you and start showing up as the person you want to be. That's where everything changes. That's where relationships stop being battles and start being partnerships. That's where attraction stops being work and starts being natural. And if you've made it all the way here, you've proven something most people won't. You're willing to confront uncomfortable truths. You're willing to question your beliefs. You're willing to do the work. And that alone means you're ahead of 95% of people trying to navigate modern relationships. Because most people want the result without the work. They want polarity without embodiment. They want attraction without difference. They want love without risk. And none of that exists. So here's your path forward. For the next 30 days, commit to embodying your energy, not performing it, embodying it. Men, practice presence, practice groundedness, practice emotional availability without emotional dependency. Women, practice receptivity, practice trust, practice softening without sacrificing your strength. And both of you, stop testing each other. Stop creating drama to feel alive. Stop resisting the very thing you're searching for. Because the truth is, Stoic men and feminine women are not incompatible. They're not opposites, they're complements. And when they come together, when masculine energy and feminine energy find balance, they create something rare, something powerful, something that modern culture has almost destroyed but can never fully erase. Polarity. And polarity is what makes love effortless. What makes attraction magnetic, what makes relationships feel like home. If you're ready to go deeper, I've put 2 videos on your screen. One will show you how to stop explaining yourself to anyone and reclaim your power. The other will teach you why weak men are scared of silence, and what happens when you embrace it. Pick one, watch it, integrate it, because philosophy without application is just theory. And you didn't come here for theory. You came here for transformation. And as always, stay stoic, my friends.